Boop, 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 boop. Okay, there's my mic. There we go. All mic'd up. Hopefully people come. Hello, R. Davey. Give me a second, we'll get up and running. I just want to make sure this is all looking good, which it is. Boop, boop. Look like a knob. Just give me a sec till I work on some things here. The webcam's not the best, but we'll live. I've got my book, I've got my... I'll put this over here. Bring this over there. So I'm just moving my windows about so that I can see what I'm doing. Done. Pop out chat. Whoop. Bring this over here. Right. Let me just get a link ready. Let me just post a cheeky wee link on my Twitter and then we're good to go. Give me a sec. Oh, for God's sake, hurry up. Bosh. Just tweet it. Done. So what do we think of that before I start recording? All good? A very pleasant one? I was very happy. I'm just laughing at everyone replying on Twitter at me leaking Smash Brothers and Crash Bandicoot without people realising. Yeah, that's the third time I've leaked stuff. Unlike other leakers, I like to keep it more subtle. Let me just close the door. Hold on. I don't really like people who leak stuff early, so I think I don't like doing it, but I like to kind of tweet leaks just to prove that I know what I'm talking about, and then wait until they've been announced, and then go back and say "told you." So that's quite funny. I enjoy doing that. So that's the third time I've done it without being caught. It's run out of different ways to do it now, though, which is the thing. Hello, Affy Lockhart. Evening. Right, I'm going to start recording this podcast soon. This is just preamble, I believe they call it in the trade. Just give me a sec. Boop, 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 boop. I'm just getting my tweets ready. Boop, 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 boop. Right. Hello, Mr. Trainer. One day I'll get caught though, and I'll get in trouble. That's the problem. Right, let me get my recording software up so I can start actually recording the podcast as well at the same time, because that's kind of the point. Let me make sure this is working. Let me make sure this is working. Good. Right. As it says in the here, apologies if I don't react a lot to the chat that's going on. I'm reading it, I promise. It's just that obviously this is a podcast as well at the same time, so I will make it clear during the podcast that the chat's on, and I will obviously refer back to the chat at times when stuff appears that kind of is relevant to what's been spoken about. But yeah, for the most part, don't be annoyed if I don't really pay much attention to what's going on in the chat. I will look at it eventually. But yeah, there'll be a Q&A bit at the end, and while I'm talking about the games, if you say what you think on the chat, if I notice something like a good point, then I'll mention it during the podcast, and obviously credit you and stuff like that, so that'll be good. Cool. Okay, so give me a second. Let me start recording and do my usual intro shit. I've got my wee behind the scenes, my wee Liechtenstein notebook here where I've got all the games that were announced written down. Oh, it's not really going to work, is it? Because that's overly bright. But trust me, see, it's all written there, pages upon pages upon pages of overly bright stuff. But yeah, there we go. Cool. 21 games announced tonight, but that's obviously counting stuff like ARMS and Splatoon 2, but most of those were new games that people didn't know about, so that's good. Okay. Let me get recording, hold on. So obviously, this is how the podcast starting, exciting times. Fuck it, I can't remember what episode it is. Actually, that's a good point. Let me quickly put a warning on here that they'll be swearing in case people come on. Hold on, add text. So I'm just adding a caution note for people that join later who aren't expecting swearing. I've had people moaning in the past that they've been watching with their kids. Pardon me. Bosh. Right, we're good. Okay, let me get recording. Are we ready? I do have Nectar of the Gods. And Brew Extra, obviously. Right, here we go, let's get recording. And it's episode 22, I believe. This is all my preamble stuff that I usually do when I record a podcast. I promise next time I do this I'll be ready when it actually starts. 23 it is. Okay. We're good to go. We are good to go. Alright troops, welcome to... Oh, I fucked it already. I always fuck it when I start a podcast. Alright troops, welcome to episode 23 of the Tyrol Hack Podcast. I'm your man Chris Scullion, and we've just had a Nintendo Direct, which is exciting stuff. 21 of your finest games have just been announced, some of which we knew about, some of which are already out and getting updates, but the vast majority were new games or ports. For the very first time ever, this podcast is live. I mean, not if you're listening to the podcast, then it's not, because I'm not that good. If you've downloaded it, then I've said it in the past. But it was live. At one point it was live. I know they all were live at one point, because otherwise I couldn't have said them if they didn't actually happen. But what I mean is it's on YouTube just now while I'm saying it. So there are currently 75 people on YouTube watching me record this podcast, which is a bit odd. And they're all in the chat. There's Andy Marsh asking me to do the intro in my Pat Sharp voice, which I don't really have a Pat Sharp voice. I've got a standard radio voice where people always speak like this. I would never do a radio voice because it's not my kind of thing. I don't speak with a radio voice. That's why I always use my own voice. So yeah, there'll be stuff like that going on. But yeah, it's been exciting times. A very, very exciting Nintendo Direct. I'm sure you'll all agree. Especially with that little Smash Brothers reveal at the end. Nobody saw that coming, except me, because I leaked it a few days ago and nobody noticed. But yeah, it was good. Other stuff like Crash Bandicoot, which nobody saw coming, except me, because I leaked it a couple of days ago and nobody noticed. So anyway, let's take the games one at a time and talk through them. Like I say, this is being recorded live on YouTube. So occasionally I may jump to the chat and get some contributions from the old viewers, I suppose, who's watching the watchers. But yeah, but for now, let's get cracking. So Nintendo Direct has just finished. Started off with 3DS section, which was mercifully brief. I think we're all we all like the 3DS for the most part. I think we're agreed, but at the same time, it is time to wind it down. Although it was interesting that some of the Switch games announced later are also coming to 3DS as well. So obviously Nintendo aren't ready to totally kill it off yet. Obviously that's still making good money. Robbie Smith's asking, were any of these announcements an actual surprise for you, or am I now an all-knowing Nintendo insider? No, there were still some surprises. Luigi's Mansion I wasn't expecting, the Mario and Luigi, but we'll get to those. I mean, when we get to them I'll say whether I knew or not. For the most part, the big ones I knew were Crash and Smash. There are actually some other ones that I also know that I didn't know whether they'd be announced or not, so I decided not to leak those, just in case. There are some interesting ones still to come, but they weren't announced tonight, so we'll put a thumb on that for now until that comes. So yeah, first up was a nice wee surprise, WarioWare Gold, coming to 3DS on the 27th of July. It's got 300 micro games. It looked like it was combining WarioWare, the first one on Game Boy Advance, WarioWare Touched on the DS, and the Game Boy Advance Tilton one, the name of which I always forget, because it never came out in Europe. I had the Japanese version, and it was about tilting. It had the accelerometer built into the cartridge. You could tilt the Game Boy Advance to play it. There were games from that as well, because obviously because it's the 3DS. They've used the motion sensing in that, so it was good. It looks like it's going to combine some of the best games from each of those, because each of those had more than 100 games, so 300 micro games means that they're not all being covered, but WarioWare is always good. We've not had a WarioWare game since the Wii, since WarioWare Smooth Moves, because it was that other weird Wario game on Wii U instead, which wasn't proper WarioWare. Twisted, that's the one. That was the Game Boy Advance one. Thank you very much, YouTube chat. I knew you'd be useful. Yeah, WarioWare Twisted on Game Boy Advance. So it looks like it's combining WarioWare Touched, and WarioWare Twisted, which is excellent. But yeah, so that I'm up for that. That's a good start. A nice wee surprise. Next up was Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers, which is a kind of sequel to Dylan's Rollin' Western, which was on the 3DS in the early days. It's a while back. It's going back a while. I'm trying to remember when. I'm pretty sure that was 3DS. Yeah, I think so. It looks like it's kind of tower defense type thing. To be honest, I didn't pay a lot of attention to this one because I wasn't really a massive fan of Dylan Rollin' Western, but I'm in the minority there. I'm just going to have a drink. The vast majority of people did like Dylan Rollin' Western, so I'm sure Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers will do well. But yeah, it's a tower defense game. It looks like you can add animal Miis in it, so you can kind of employ Mii characters who are dressed up as animals. I've actually written down fuck that. So that's my own personal opinion. Some people will be up for it, but I'm not that keen, but that's fine. That's what makes the world go round, is diversity of opinion. And that's out on 25th of May, so which is also the day we move into our new home, so I've got an excuse for not buying it. I'll be lugging boxes around in that day anyway, so that's quite good. Yeah, people are talking about old WarioWare games in the chat. DIY was one of the later ones where you kind of make your own game, but Downloadable with Snapped was one of the lowest scores. I gave a first party game, WarioWare Snapped, on the DSi, which was terrible. Absolutely terrible. So yeah, after that was Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey, which is kind of, it looks like it's following on from what they did with Superstar Saga recently, where they kind of did a remake of it. So this looks like a remake of Bowser's Inside Story, and then with an extra minigame bit called Bowser Jr.'s Journey, which looks like the same kind of thing as Superstar Saga had. It had an extra wee bit about a Goomba, like a path that a Goomba was taking, minion something, I can't remember what it's called. But this looks like exactly the same thing, to be honest, where you kind of employ enemies and make them fight for you in kind of real-time battles and that. To be fair, that was quite good fun, that kind of minigame, so if it's more the same as that, I'm kind of up for it. Although you could argue that it's not very original because they're basically just repeating what they did before. But yeah, what can I say? It's odd that they went straight to Bowser's Inside Story, because I'm sure there was ones in between. There's Partners in Time was the second one, was it not? It looks like they've just shimmied that. They went straight from Superstar Saga to that, which is quite odd, because I quite liked Partners in Time. But there we go. We're on to Bowser's Inside Story, 2019, so that won't be out for a while. So I hope if you're craving some Mario and Luigi goodness, you'll be at it for a while, because that's at least 9 months away, if not longer. Detective Pikachu next. We already kind of know about that, so this is just kind of one of the usual updates where they just say, hey, don't forget Detective Pikachu's coming out 23rd of March, so what's that, 15 days away. And obviously they pimped their big massive Pikachu amiibo, which I've got pre-ordered because it looks excellent. It's a massive amiibo though. It's like, if a normal amiibo is like that size, This obviously doesn't work in podcast, but more for the YouTube people. If it's like that size, this one's like almost double the size, I would say. Then next, one of the big surprises, Luigi's Mansion on 3DS, which looks like a kind of fairly straight port of the GameCube one, but with a boss rush mode added where you just fight the bosses. I don't know why it's not on the Switch. I would love to have, sorry, that was me drinking again for the benefit of the podcast. I would love to have both Luigi's Mansion and Luigi's Mansion 2 in a kind of 2-in-1 pack on the Switch. So that's a shame. That would have been nice to have. But regardless, Luigi's Mansion 2 is already on 3DS, so it makes sense to have Luigi's Mansion 1 on there as well, even though you're going backwards instead of forwards. It's nice to have 2 Luigi's Mansion games on the 3DS, but like I say, a report to the Switch at some point wouldn't go amiss. After that, so that was the 3DS section done fairly quickly, within 5 minutes. 3DS was out in its arse, and then the Switch came in. Kirby Star Allies we started with, which is out 16th, so that's out in what, 8 days. I've been playing that for review purposes. It's in the preview stages now, so I can't talk too much about it. I'm enjoying it, but like I say, yeah, I can't give a definitive verdict yet until the embargo lifts, but I'll have a review up late next week along with footage and stuff like that. They're adding free DLC apparently, starting on the 28th of March, so 12 days after it comes out. They're adding DDD, Meta Knight and Bandana Waddle Dee, that legend, as kind of friends that you can. The whole point of the game is that you can fire love hearts at enemies and they'll become your pal, and they become your like co-op partners. So if you're playing with a second player, a third player, a fourth player, they control them. Otherwise, the AI controls them. So they're adding DDD, Meta Knight and Waddle Dee as potential partners, so that you can play as them in the co-op. And it looks like there's more updates coming with other kind of helper characters from previous Kirby games, like that big hamster thing I always forget. But no Knuckle Joe, who was in an old Kirby game, one of my favourite characters. Just because he's called Knuckle Joe, he's not there, which is a shame. People talk about Smash Brothers already in the chat about whether Smash Brothers is new or not a port. We'll get to that later. It's an interesting one. I think they're deliberately being quiet about that, although while chatting I can check my emails to see, because usually Nintendo sends out a press release shortly after. Nothing yet. I usually get an email from Nintendo an hour or so after the Direct finishes, basically recapping everything that was shown and explaining in greater detail, but nothing yet. I'll keep you updated. Next up, Okami HD. Hooray! I bet most people listening to this have already forgotten that they announced Okami HD because there's so much other stuff in there. But yeah, Okami HD is much appreciated. Obviously, it came to the Wii as well. It was ported to the Wii first, and one of the big deals about Okami on the Wii was being able to use the Wii remote to draw with your paintbrush on the screen, instead of using the analog sticks, which you could in the other versions of the game. So yeah, so that's quite cool. You can use the touchscreen on the Switch if you're playing in handheld mode, or you can use Joy-Con motion control to paint, so you can still paint on the screen instead of having to use the thumbsticks, although presumably if you're using the Pro Controller you still need to do that. But yeah, that's exciting. Okami's always been a fantastic game, so another version of that is more than welcome. And that's coming out in the summer 2018. So if you haven't bought Okami HD yet on the other systems, it was released recently on current gen systems, then you might want to hold fire for the Switch one, because being able to draw on the screen or use the Joy-Cons might be better, might be more intuitive and more satisfying, so you might want to hold fire. It's not the kind of game that I would imagine will look massively different on Switch compared to the Xbox One and PS4, because it's quite a basic looking cell shaded game anyway, so I'd imagine the Switch version will look quite similar. It might just be frame rate issues or something, but we'll see. Sushi Striker The Way of I can't even say it. Sushi Striker The Way of Sushido came next. Weird kind of puzzle battle game. They'd previously announced this, so this was them just kind of filling in the details on what it is. It's out on the 8th of June on both the Switch and the 3DS. I'm still not sure about that one. I've tried to figure out how the mechanics worked when I was looking at it, but it looks I don't know. I'm not. The jury's out in that one. If it's, I'm up for trying it out. It looks quite funny, but we'll see. I'm not as enthralled by that one as I was about the other stuff that was shown. It could be interesting though. You got to kind of trust Nintendo and hope that it'll work out, but we'll see. Up next was another update on Octopath Traveler, which finally has a release date, at least 13th of July. They showed 2 new characters, Tressa, who is a merchant, and Alphen, who is an apothecary. Standard RPG fare, I would imagine. I like the look of Octopath Traveler, but I'm just going to wait till it comes out. I usually find it hard to engage when there's videos showing how RPGs work. I prefer to just play the game and learn it that way. So when they were talking about her skills and how she can buy things and how he can heal people or something, I just switched off. I'm not interested. I'll wait until the game comes out, and then I'd rather discover it that way. It's out on the 13th of July, and there's a kind of weird special edition that comes with like a pop-up book, like a diorama thing, and a coin, a replica coin from the game. Not real currency. Do not try to spend it on sweeties, because you will be thrown out of the shop with gusto and onto your arse. No More Heroes, Travis Strikes Again. Your man Suda51 with an interesting one. They claimed it was 7 games in one, but most of the stuff they showed looked just like one of them. It was a kind of, not really top down, but a kind of third person from above kind of action type game where you run about with your beam katana slashing people up, and there's a co-op mode now where someone else can team up with Travis Touchdown, so that looks quite good. I'm kind of up for No More Heroes, Travis Strikes Again. That should be a good one. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the rest is, because apparently Suda collaborated with other indie developers, so I'm assuming that the other games included will be different types of mini games, and they'll all kind of join together to make one kind of story, so that could be quite interesting. Dark Souls came next, again another one we knew about, but they're doing a network test demo soon apparently, so presumably at some point there'll be a free weekend or something where everyone can download Dark Souls on the Switch and try it out to make sure the network can handle it. And then it's also coming out with a Solier of Astora amiibo. Now, I'll be frank, I've never played Dark Souls. It's a game that I've always meant to play. I've got the first 2 downloaded on my Xbox, but I just never got around to playing them. So I'm kind of tempted to hold fire and play it on the Switch instead. So this amiibo looks interesting, but to be honest, it's lost on me. I'm not really sure what the deal is. Apparently it can do the Praise the Sun taunt, which I'm under the impression is a thing. So that's good. Well done to that. That's also out on the 25th of May, which is the day I move house, so I won't be able to jump on that right away, but it looks like the sort of thing. I'm always keen to try out games that are apparently challenging, so I'm keen to get stuck into that eventually. 18CB7 on the YouTube chat, again this is a live podcast, is saying that they definitely got Fury vibes from No More Heroes. That's a good shout. If you check my YouTube channel, I've got a first play video of Fury on the Switch, which is a kind of boss battle type game, which looks like it's got a similar viewpoint to No More Heroes, Travis Strikes Again, and it's got a kind of similar style to it, so that's a good shout. Check out Fury on Switch if the new No More Heroes looks like your bag, because it's excellent. They moved from games to remind people about the gold points thing in My Nintendo. There's a lot of kind of controversy there, or controversy depending on how you want to pronounce it. Basically from now on, every 1 penny you spend is 1 point, 1 gold point, and they can be spent on shit. They give you discounts on Switch games now, but apparently you don't get a lot. But to be fair, it doesn't look terrible, and there's a lot of people maybe overreacting a tiny wee bit. 25th, someone's saying 25th of May is another special anniversary, but I can't think what that may be, but we shall see. Yeah, gold points in My Nintendo. I think someone was saying it works out at roughly, if you buy a £60 game, you maybe get a couple of quid, which is alright. That's some money off an indie game. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're not going to start chucking games at people willy nilly. I mean, they need to make their money. This is just like a wee extra bonus for people who buy stuff. So yeah, don't be expecting loads of free games. It's better than nothing. It's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. Right, so after the gold points bit, they went on to Mario Tennis Aces. Now they spent ages on this one, let's face it, which is fine. It looks okay. A lot of it was explaining stuff that was already in previous Mario Tennis games, but in fairness, there are kind of a load of new mechanics now. There's 15 characters in it. There's this new zone shot thing where you can use motion controls to pinpoint exactly where to hit the ball, which I thought was quite cool. And also zone speed, it's called, where you can kind of go slow-mo and make to catch those kind of ridiculous trick shot that people hit. You can break someone's racket now. I think they said something like if the racket breaks 3 times, they lose instantly, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. And all these kind of zone shots and zone speed things are done with an energy meter, which you can build up quicker by doing these trick shots, which it looks like you need to kind of time better. So like they're harder to hit, but if you manage to hit them, your energy meter boosts up. Thankfully, you can do like a simple rules mode where it turns off all that weird shit and it's just kind of normal tennis, which is good. There's online multiplayer. There's going to be events and online tournaments where you'll get special outfits and maybe even unlock characters for participating. So that's all exciting times. I'm up for that. And they're adding motion control swinging. They're obviously still haven't totally given up on Wii Sports. So if the idea of swinging about a Joy-Con pumps your nads, then you can still do that, so that's good. And apparently there's a pre-launch online tournament coming soon, so that sounds like another ARMS test fire type thing, or whatever it's called, Global Test Punch. Sounds like one of those type things where people can download it and try the game out for themselves. So yeah, I'm wary about 18CB7 saying, or 18CB7 saying, it looks like they've got it right this time. As long as the story mode is fun, I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm still, the jury's out on the story mode. I think they were a bit cheeky when they first announced it, saying that it was the first story mode since the Game Boy Advance one. It looks like it might be more linear than that. Based on the first time they revealed it looked like you were following like a world map and just going in a straight line. So it looks like you just get a load of different mini games and stuff with just a linear plot, but hopefully that's not the case. It would be nice to have some sort of RPG element, but we'll see. I'm up for it anyway. It looks like it'll be quite good. It looks like it's going to be more like the tennis game on 3DS, which suits me, and less like the one on Wii U, which was fucking abysmal. So that's good. I'm up for it. I'm sold. I'm also sold on Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which is coming to Switch on the 13th of July, and also 3DS, but they didn't give a date for the 3DS, which makes me think it's coming to that later. So yeah, it's Captain Toad, which was a massively underrated Wii U game, coming to Switch, and they're adding new Mario Odyssey levels set in like New Donk City and stuff like that, which is awesome. And they're also adding a new co-op mode where player 2 can throw turnips at enemies. I'm not sure if that was already in the Wii U one. I'm not. I need to double check, but I get the feeling it wasn't. I think this is new to Switch, the co-op mode. But that looks quite cool. It looks similar to Mario Galaxy's co-op mode, where one player throws things at enemies to hold them in place, while the other player can kind of navigate easier. So that looks quite cool. Wee teaser trailer after that for Undertale on the Switch. They just said it was coming eventually, so that's nice. I've never played. Undertale's another one of those ones that keep meaning to play, but I'm not much of a PC gamer, and I never really managed to buy it on anything else. So I'll definitely play it on the Switch because it looks like my kind of thing. And then one of the biggies, one of the Christopher Biggins, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is coming to Nintendo Switch on the 10th of July. The first time those 3 games, Crash Bandicoot Warped, and Crash Bandicoot 2, whatever it was called. The first time those 3 will be coming to any Nintendo system. So that's good. Obviously Crash has been on Nintendo before, on kind of GameCube and DS and stuff like that, but this is the first time those original 3 games, arguably the best 3 games, are coming to Nintendo systems. So that's good. That's exciting times. Little Nightmares is coming on the 18th of May. It includes all the DLC from before. Yeah, again, another one that I keep meaning to play. I've got it downloaded, but I might wait for the Switch one instead. It's got a weird Pac-Man costume that you can unlock by scanning the Pac-Man amiibo, so it's good to see that the best amiibo ever released is still getting use. And I will fight anyone who says otherwise, that argues that the Pac-Man amiibo isn't the best. GRD TRM, I'm not sure what that's short for. On the chat is saying, I assume Captain Toad won't have many new levels if it's not got a new subtitle, like they were just calling it Treasure Tracker. That's true. I'd imagine the Odyssey levels are just kind of additions to the main game, which will just be pretty much the same as the Wii U one, I would imagine. So yeah, I wouldn't expect reams of new content there, maybe another 10 or 20 new levels. But that's fine by me. There's so many people didn't play Captain Toad in the first place, so for the vast majority it's going to be new experience, so that's cool. South Park The Fractured Butthole is coming on the 24th of April. The DLC isn't included, so even though it's been out for a while on other systems, the DLC is still coming out on Xbox One and PS4. It's still being rolled out, so it's not quite late enough on the Switch for them to justify adding all the DLC is included, because by the time it comes out on Switch there will still be some DLC on the way, so you'll need to buy a season pass or buy the DLC separately, which is a shame, but there you go. 24th of April. I'd heard that the first game was coming as well, but that wasn't announced, so maybe that's not the case at all. But if it does get announced later, you heard it here first, and if it doesn't, you didn't hear it here at all. Moving on, a wee cheeky one for Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. It's out on the 18th of May, so that's good. That's what, April, May, about two and a bit months before Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition's out. I'm up for that. Andy Marsh says the squishy Metroid amiibo is the best amiibo. I would say that's up there, but I still think Pac-Man's the best. There's a free ARMS demo event on the 31st of March for 3 days, another one of those global test punches basically that they brought out before ARMS came out. Basically means if you don't have ARMS yet, then what are you doing playing the Switch without any ARMS? If you don't have ARMS, you can download this demo one on the 31st of March, so that'll be good. Then they properly went all out on Splatoon 2 and kind of gave you the impression that that was how they were ending, because they went heavy on Splatoon 2 just as the time was running out. So there's a European Championship streaming on YouTube, as well as some weird concert where it looks like the two characters from Splatoon 2 are doing some sort of hologram concert, which I think they did in Japan once, and they're doing it again. Then they're bringing out version 3.0 in late April, which has got, I've got it written down here conveniently, 100 new pieces of gear, 3 more stages, a new X rank, which apparently is higher than S+, and then the Octo expansion, which is a paid single player DLC, which is quite exciting. It's about a new character called Agent 8, and there's 80 test facilities, so 80 new levels, apparently, and they're all connected by this subway. And apparently if you make your way through that, you can play as an Octoling. I think that's what they said in the multiplayer mode. They then ended by saying 2018 is the year of the Octoling. As long as it's not the year of Daisy, I am happy with that. I don't mind it being the year of the Octoling. I was always hoping for the year of the Ice Climbers, but I'll take that instead. And then finally, the wee bit at the end, the wee wink wink. The old Smash Brothers on the way. Who'd have thunk it? Started with the Splatoon characters to make it look as if it was going to be Daisy does have an amiibo. Big Lover is asking if Daisy has an amiibo. This vile specimen here that I'm showing to the camera for the people is the Daisy amiibo, which I've just thrown with gusto. It's alright, it's hard plastic, I wouldn't throw it if it was going to scratch. But yeah, Smash Brothers opened with Splatoon characters, the Inklings. They made it look as if it was like another kind of Splatoon type thing, but anyone who knows Smash Brothers trailers knew shit was going down, because they usually do that with Smash Brothers teaser trailers, and then suddenly everything went dark. The old Smash Brothers logo reflects in the Inkling's eye, and the shadow of Mario appears, as does the shadow of Breath of the Wild Link, not standard Link but the Breath of the Wild version of Link, which is interesting. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on there. It says it's out in 2018, which makes me think it's not an entirely new Smash Brothers game. I'm still betting on it being a kind of compilation of the 3DS and Wii U ones combined, because obviously the 3DS Smash Brothers had mostly original stages based on handheld games, and the Wii U one mostly had stages based on console games. And since the Switch is both a handheld and a console, it makes sense to bring all the stages together, and then add some more characters, kind of like a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe situation, where if it's Super Smash Brothers Deluxe, where they add all the 3DS and Wii U stages, chuck in the Splatoon characters, gives them a new costume to Link, stuff like that. I'm up for that. But yeah, there we go. That was the Nintendo Direct. Loads of stuff on the way. So much. I mean, it's good to see because there were people. There was an understandable bit of worry. Like when there's so much stuff came out on the Switch last year. I think a lot of people were going, right, okay, well that was a good first year. What's coming in the second year, because you're being really quiet now, Nintendo, and we're worried you've kind of emptied your resources on the first year, and now we're going to be sitting twiddling our thumbs waiting. And granted, there's loads of stuff coming out on the eShop to pass the time. There's loads of good indie games still coming out, but people are still going, what's next, what's coming? But now we've got, I mean, I'll read again. We now know Kirby's out in a week and a half, Okami HD's coming out in the summer, Sushi Striker's out in the summer, Octopath Traveler's out in the summer, No More Heroes is out this year, Dark Souls is out in May, Mario Tennis is out in June, Captain Toad's out in July, Crash Bandicoot's out in July, Little Nightmares is out in May, South Park's out in April, Hyrule Warriors is in May, and then Smash Brothers is later in the year. So that's a fuck ton of games, and that's obviously not counting what ends up getting announced at E3. You'd imagine there'll be more stuff coming in, so it's good. There are plenty of new games on the way, and yeah, you can't really complain at that. Thor putting this says, I think I'm the only one who's slightly disappointed. I would be curious to know why. He says above, I want a new Smash. Yeah, I mean, for all we know, it is a new Smash, but given that it's out at the end of this year, I think they're doing a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with it, to be honest. I think they're it might be a greatly improved version. They might have loads more characters in it. I mean, it's been a number of years since the Wii U one came out, and knowing the Switch was coming, so they could have spent some time. For all we know, Professor Layton's in it. For all we know, Heihachi from Tekken's in it, because they're pally with Bandai. For all we know, Reiko from Ridge Racer Type 4's in it, for all we know. But yeah, so there could be more surprises to come. I don't think the Splatoon characters will be the only characters in it, especially if they're hinting Link's Breath of the Wild costume. Maybe Zelda will have a Breath of the Wild costume as well. Maybe Mario will have new outfits based on Odyssey. You never know. There could be loads of stuff on the way, so we'll need to wait and see. It could be quite interesting. If it was me, I would just give new outfits to everyone just to freshen it up a bit. Let's make it so that the Animal Crossing villager you can swap her out for mine's gone blank. What's her face? Her that owns your wee helper in the 3DS one. It comes out and says, "Oh, here's what we need to build." She was in Mario Kart 8 as well. My mind's gone totally blank. Someone will tell me in the chat soon. She should be in it. So yeah, it opens everything up again for Smash Brothers. It becomes exciting again, because now you're thinking, what stages will be in it? Will there be a new Donk City stage? Will there be a stage based on the festival in Mario Odyssey? Will there be? Well, there'll be a Splatoon stage if the Inklings are in it. So yeah, it's Isabelle. That's the one. It's going to be Isabelle. Yeah, I'm excited. I think there's a lot of stuff there. I'm quite happy. Yeah, Thor's elaborating on what he said. He says, I was a Wii U owner and I have most of these games. That's understandable. He says, but I understand why Nintendo releasing ports. Majority of Switch owners didn't own a Wii U. Exactly. I mean, there's more they could bring out, but for now, yeah, Smash Bros is a weird one because a lot of 3DS owners would obviously had it. But yeah, in terms of the Wii U one was the premium Smash Brothers, and although it sold well, it was one of the best selling Wii U games. In the grand scheme of things, it's still massively undersold compared to the other Smash Brothers games, purely because it was on the Wii U. I thought it was a fantastic game, so it deserves a second chance. Other Wii U games deserve a second chance as well, and although they're not all confirmed for Switch yet, I would hope to see more of them coming. But yeah, I'm happy stuff like Hyrule Warriors is getting another shot, because that was good. It's all good. It's all good. Thor saying he'll hold out for Metroid Prime 4. Do I think this will be pushed to 2019 now? Yeah, there's not a chance in hell Metroid Prime 4 will be out this year. If all they could show was a logo last time, I would imagine E3 we might not even get gameplay. We might just get a CGI trailer in E3, and it might be late 2019. It might be the point that E3 2019 is the first time we see gameplay footage of it. I think that's a long way away. Mikey's asking if I'm looking forward to the Glasgow derby this weekend, Rangers versus Celtic. I am indeed. I think it'll be 4-1 Celtic, all going well. So yeah, there we go. That was the Nintendo Switch and 3DS Nintendo Direct. That's good. JD Eichenberg saying fingers crossed on Mario Maker port. I've seen a lot of people saying that they'd like to see Mario Maker on the Switch. I'm still not sure about that. Given that the Switch is played partly on console as well, it would need to be a handheld only game, because it needs a touchscreen probably. I mean, you could play it without a touchscreen, but I think it would lose something in that. Robbie Smith asks, do you think they're saving the eShop overhaul for an E3 Virtual Console announcement? Yeah, I think at E3 they'll finally give details on their whole online service and what that entails, and Virtual Console is going to be part of that. I'm still holding out for some sort of Netflix type Virtual Console where you pay X amount a month and you get just access to the whole library. That kind of like Xbox Game Pass. That would make sense. GRD TRM or Gurdrum is saying Patrick Klepek was musing that the amount of 3DS games are final holdovers from them hedging their bets with the Switch. What do you think? Yeah, possibly. I mean, games take a while to develop, so these 3DS games have been in development for a while. So, except for the Mario and Luigi one, that's mental that that's out in 2019. There's like, what is going on there? But yeah, some of these are the last. I want to say the last dregs because they still look like good games, but these are the last kind of bubbling spurts of the 3DS's life before it kind of quietly dies off. These are the last kind of the last hurrah for the 3DS. Cheeky Wee Luigi's Mansion game, Detective Pikachu, stuff like that. Just a few more wee kind of quirky games. There'll still be some 3DS games from third parties, I would imagine, but I think that's pretty much it. It's on its way out. Nintendo's just going to focus solely on the Switch from now on. I don't believe the daft rumour that Nintendo's making a new follow-up to the 3DS, which I've heard. That's just bollocks. Cue a month's time when they announce something. But it would be mental for them to announce a new system with Switch doing so well. They need to be focusing all their efforts on that. But yeah, Mikey's asking, how many hardcore first-person shooters do you reckon we can expect on the Switch over the next year or so? Don't know. Again, the alleged rumour that Call of Duty was coming to the Switch doesn't seem to have materialised yet, if at all. So that's maybe not coming. I'm not really sure what else is on the way. Doom did well, so hopefully the success of Doom means there's more on the way. Obviously Wolfenstein's on the way. I'll need to wait and see what else, whether Bethesda decides to dip back and go with Fallout, possibly, if the other ones are doing well. Yeah, it remains to be seen. I mean, you would imagine the success, the relative critical success at least of Doom, and we'll see how well Wolfenstein does, might encourage. All these things are based on momentum. When companies start seeing that certain games sell well, then they'll say, well, I'll have a bit of that. So the fact that the Switch is now doing well, we'll not see the fruit of that for another year or so, because developers are only now, maybe in the last 6 months, have started going, right, okay, it's selling now, because they would have all been waiting to see if it was going to be another Wii U situation. Nobody's going to commit to another Wii U. If the Switch had come out and sold fucking 20 units, and all these companies had committed to making big AAA games for it, they would have went, oh shit, we've wasted money here, no one's going to buy our game. 6 months ago, it suddenly became clear that the Switch was going to be a big seller, so that's when developers would have started saying, right, okay, let's go for it, let's start supporting the Switch. So you're not going to see the fruits of that until end of this year, start of next year. That's just how long games take to make. So just be patient. Like, the second year of Switch is looking okay so far, based on what we've just seen. I think the third year is going to be pretty special, because that's when that'll be when all the kind of developers, all the stuff that they've just started working on will finally start surfacing in the third year. That's when it'll kick off, I think. Dan Entwistle, talking of first person shooters, were you surprised there was no Wolfenstein 2 release date? Kind of. I wasn't. I wonder if that they've maybe bitten off more than they could chew with that. Doom was an impressive feat, but It was quite clear it was pretty heavily cut down graphically to get it on the Switch. I wonder if Wolfenstein 2 might have been a step too far and they're struggling to get it looking good. I hope not. I hope they're still working on it. But stuff like Steep as well. Steep's just disappeared. I hope Ubisoft's still working on that, because I quite like Steep on Xbox One. But we'll see. I would imagine Wolfenstein 2 will be in the next Direct, I would have guessed, whenever that may be. But yeah, exciting times. So there we go. That was the Nintendo Direct. Quite happy. It seems most people are quite happy. That wee cheeky wee smash at the end has everyone happy. And yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time to be a gamer in general. You've got, obviously all the Switch stuff is coming out. Switch is still knocking it out of the park. You've got Xbox One Game Pass, which could potentially transform the way first party games are treated going forward if Sony and Nintendo decide to follow suit one day in the future. It's crazy that Microsoft are bringing all the first party games and including them in this kind of $7.99 a month bundle. That's genius, but we'll see what happens. And you've got Sony's got a load of good games on the way as well. So regardless of which system you like, it's a good time to be a gamer. Obviously the best situation is to have more than one system, but obviously not everyone can afford that. But everyone can be happy with the one they've got. Is churning out some good stuff. No one should be an unhappy gamer just now. It's a good time, which is why there should be less negativity on Twitter and in the media. It's a very good time to be a gamer regardless of your loyalties. So yeah, fun times all round. Let's draw a line under it there. Oh well, let's do one more. Matthew Milliard saying, where does this leave E3? Online service, a gameplay trailer, a Metroid Smash, and then will we get another major first party announcement or not? He's given examples: Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, F-Zero. I think Animal Crossing is a stick on. It has to be. Animal Crossing has to be E3. Without a shadow of a doubt. Like I said way back at the start, there's stuff I know about as well which hasn't yet been announced, which I'd imagine might be getting saved for E3 or might be getting saved for a Direct before it, which is good stuff. So we'll see what happens there, but there's some nice kind of wee releases still to be announced. But yeah, it's good. It's been a good time. It's been a good day, and that was a good Nintendo Direct. I think most people, for the majority of people, would agree with that. But yeah, so let's draw a line under it there. For those watching on the YouTube stream, I will continue chatting after for a wee bit after I've finished my podcast. But for everyone else listening on the podcast, please do the usual whatever it is you do. You don't like and subscribe to the podcast, don't you? You do. You review it, give it 5 stars on iTunes and review it, and write something along the lines of, I thought I'd heard everything a podcast could ever be, and then some, until I listened to the Tyrol Hack podcast, and then I realised that everything I believed about podcasts up to that point was a dirty, stinking, despicable lie, and now I realise that the Tyrol Hack podcast is the only thing, literally the only thing going. Something like that, something humble like that. That would be lovely. And yeah, until then, thank you very much for listening. I'll catch you on the flip flop with another podcast very soon. Cheers, guys. Bye bye. There we go, and that's the podcast. Let me just stop that recording. Boop. Get it saved. I'm still on. Don't worry. I'm just saving my podcast. Sorry, just give me a sec. Boop, 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 boop. Just check that saved okay. Whoa, that's loud. One, it looks like a greatly improved line under it there. For those watching on the YouTube, yes, works fine. Good. Well, there we go. Thank you all for helping with that. That seemed to go fairly well. I'm happy to do more of those in the future. if you're happy to rejoin for them. Like I was saying earlier when I was testing this out, I'm still doing my secret project at the moment. Let me have a drink. I need a drink. I'm still doing my secret project, TM, which will be finished at the end of the month. Once it's done, it's down the blue hour, as if I wasn't previously swearing. Yeah, it'll now, once the secret project is finished at the end of March, I can properly get back into this kind of thing. I've got loads of ideas for Tyrol Hack, which I want to implement, but obviously can't until this is out the way. So there'll be a lot more. I want to start doing live podcasts like this, because I think they go quite well. They won't all be live. Some of them will. Some I'll do with Louise offline and with other guests and stuff. But the ones that are just me, I'll probably do this setup just to kind of mix it up a bit, and so it's not just me talking on my own. Yeah, thank you very much for you lovely people in the comments saying nice things. I don't know if anyone noticed, but if you check my Twitter, I've revealed how I leaked Crash Bandicoot and Smash Brothers without anyone noticing. So that's quite good. A lot of people were talking about, certain leakers were talking about Crash Bandicoot because it had already been hinted, but no one, as far as I can tell, predicted Smash with any real confidence. But your man Scullion did it. But yeah, I'm glad people enjoyed it. Thor and Dan and Afi and Matthew all saying very nice things in the chat. That's very much appreciated. Yeah, there'll be more. I want to go back to doing game streams again. Like I was saying at the start of the stream, when we move house, I want to have my PC and my game systems kind of closer to each other again, because this is just a wee room that doesn't have any systems in it, so that I can properly do streams, because my better streaming capture and hardware's in this PC, and I used to have to, when I did streams before, I used to have to drag a big cable right across the living room, which was a bit shit. But when we move house, I'll deliberately set it up in a way that I can do that again, so that'll be good. And there'll be a baby from like June, so the streams will be temperamental. They won't all be long fucking 3-hour streams, because obviously they'll be stopping at totally random times for me to deal with the baby. But as and when I get free time, we'll keep it going, because it's fun and that, innit? Yeah, I'll still be in Edinburgh, so that's good. Just moving up past Morningside, the posh bit, but not the totally posh bit. There's still, I'll still be scum. Don't worry. I'll be sure to scumify the area. How do you pronounce that? GRDTRM? Is it just Gerd term? Because I feel quite bad not being able to pronounce it every time. Saying, do you sometimes wish you didn't get tip-offs and would rather be surprised when everyone finds out? I'm kind of happy with the situation I'm in just now, because when I was at O&M, thanks very much, Mark's YouTube cast, when I was on O&M, we pretty much got everything. We pretty much got told pretty much everything that was coming, and that was fine in a way. But because you could at least write about it in the magazine and talk to everyone else in the magazine about it. Now that I'm freelance and living in Edinburgh, basically, and away from out of the loop, essentially, it's trickier, because you get told all this stuff and then you're like, woo, and then you just have to sit on it for like a long time sometimes and go like that and not be able to actually talk to anyone about it, which is quite infuriating. But it's a nice kind of mixture, because I get those still, so I can kind of put these sneaky wee hints in Twitter and be quite cheeky with it, while also preparing. It helps me prepare for coverage on Tyrol Hack, to let me prepare what to any kind of features I can do based on the stuff I know about. But it also means I don't know everything, so I still get nice wee surprises like Luigi's Mansion tonight and Captain Toad and stuff like that I wasn't aware of. So it's good. It's a nice wee kind of middle ground. I would suggest people don't. Well, I would hope that people don't focus too much on the so-called the new kind of wave of leakers that have just appeared, claiming to know everything left, right, and centre. I'd be wary of that. It looks like there's a lot of kind of second-hand and third-hand leaking going around, doing the rounds. A lot of people are sharing the same sources, so the people, it just depends on who wants to come out and claim it first. I see a lot of the leaks that some people come out and claim as exclusives I already know about. I knew about Mario Rabbids thingy months and months and months and months before it was sitting in my DMs, all the artwork. I was just waiting to see who was going to announce it. Some people, it would appear, are just throwing shit at anything and hoping some of it sticks, and then deleting the tweets that weren't true. So, for example, people were saying there was going to be a Nintendo Direct in February for certain, and then it never happened, so then that promptly got deleted. But yeah, I would just say, all I would say is that nothing I've leaked so far has been wrong. It just hasn't been known until after the Direct, at which point I go back and say I leaked it. So yeah, it's the best of both worlds. I get to leak stuff without actually doing it, because I don't actually like people who leak. I don't like the leaking practice. I think it spoils it a bit, and I think it's I don't think it's fun. I think it ruins it. I like situations like tonight where everyone saw Smash at exactly the same time and went, oh, what the fuck, it's Smash, instead of the Smash thing starting and people going, all right, it's Smash, here we go, this was the Smash bit that everyone knew was coming. I prefer the internet losing their shit all at the same time. So like Smash is trending just now on Twitter, as is Nintendo Direct, as is Splatoon. I just like that. I like everyone discovering these things at the same time, because that's what makes it exciting. Insider knowledge is cool to an extent, but it ruins it. I think it ruins the fun of being a gamer. Half the fun of being a gamer is being surprised and being shocked and going, oh. And I think people who want to leak anything and everything just ruins that a bit. I know some people who used to be heavy leakers, so to speak. they went to the doctor and got it all stitched up and they were fine after that. No, but and they've told me, some people who used to leak a lot have told me they don't like leaking so much anymore because it ruins the fun, and I agree. I don't like it. I like doing cheeky ones like that, because it's fine telling people that you leaked it after the fact's known, because then they can go, oh, and there's no like, oh, I wish you hadn't have told me that, because I did but I didn't, so I prefer that. There is plenty more Daisy trolling planned. That was really weird, the Daisy trolling stuff. But it got really out of hand. For people who don't know, I was trolling Daisy just for a laugh. I mean, anyone who's followed me for a long time, I've just to slag off Daisy and old O&M podcasts and stuff like that. Just for whatever reason, I just decided again to remind people that I didn't like her. And for some reason, this weird Daisy group, which seems to have been established in France, just kind of kicked off and decided that I was harassing them personally, just because I didn't like the character that they liked, which is fucking mental. But yeah, there was lots of lengthy Twitter arguments, and then the occasional threat like, oh, you'll be sorry that you haven't heard the last of this, the Daisy fucking crew's coming. Oh. And for a wee brief moment I thought, these are kids that might, like today's kids, might know their way around a bot or whatever it is. Maybe they might start hacking my Twitter account and stuff like that. But no, it turned out it was just an animation of a really low poly me getting slapped in the face by Princess Daisy, which, I mean, I've had worse. So yeah, that was fine. Bigger rivalry, Daisy or Hull? Yeah, back in the day I used to slag off Hull a lot. It's been a while. I'm going to have a few more Hull digs in Tired Old Hack soon. Just for old time's sake, just for the old O&M fans. I'm going to start doing more Hull references, just for a laugh. But yeah, there's loads of kind of stuff I've got planned. I want to. There'll be more videos coming. The VHS preservation thing that I started will be back once the secret project's done. I've got like another 10, 11, 12 British VHS tapes and like 15 or 16 Spanish ones, which I've never seen before. So I'm really excited to kind of go through those. I'll show you them. I think I put up a photo before. Hold on. This is where I drop something. So yeah, I've got stuff like these mega CD ones, so they're Spanish VHS tapes, and one with Street Fighter on it. Let me see what else. This Super Juegos Spanish games video. A Spanish Nintendo one about the N64 and Game Boy Color. Loads of tapes like this that I'm dying to get properly stuck into and record commentaries for. Let's put these down here. But again, the secret project comes first. There's a Dreamcast one. There's a multiple formats one. So there's loads of stuff that are coming. Sorry, 86 Ricky, I'm not seeing all the messages. I can't respond to everyone, but I'm trying my best. But yeah, there's loads of these Spanish ones. There's old Sega Pirate video one, another Spanish one, another N64 one, an official one, a Perfect Dark one, which I've never seen before. It's Spanish. One with Dynamite Heady on it, old Mega Drive days. Another Nintendo one, N64 one, another N64 one, another N64 one, and these are all kind of official ones. Another 10 out of 10 N64 one, and then one which I believe is about Sonic 3. So yeah, loads of kind of weird Spanish videos coming soon, so that'll be exciting times. There will be a podcast episode with Louise soon. She'll probably be in the next episode. She just doesn't like being on camera, which is fair enough. I don't really want her on camera either. You know what the internet's like when a lady turns up. So yeah, it's probably for the best. And yeah, we're going to go back into the co-op series. Afi was asking. We're definitely going to do more of those. It's just this project. Once you see what it is, I know it's annoying now that I keep going on about it and not being able to, pardon me, say more about it. Once you see what it is, it'll make sense as to why it's taken so long to do. But I'm really happy with it. I'm hopeful it'll do well. I think if it ends up in the right hands, it will do well and get promoted properly. And if it does well, it could be the start of something quite interesting. But we'll see. I might need all of your help to spread the word. But yeah, we shall see. But yeah, there we go. Chris, it's nearly midnight. I've not done my project today at all. Alright, let's draw a line under it tonight then, folks. We'll do more of these soon. Let's do another one next week if I can, if I get the time. Until then, thank you very much for watching my first live stream. Not my first live stream, my first live podcast. That was enjoyable. But yeah, have a good evening. Enjoy all the kind of bants, as I believe they call it, as I believe the kids say. And I'll catch you soon with more stuffs and things. But yeah, until then, arrivederci. Does that mean, that means goodbye? I'm pretty sure it does. Goodbye is what I'm trying to say. Keeping the 1M spirit alive, exactly. I've also got another wee plan. This isn't the secret project, but I want to try and do, once the project's out of the way, I subscribe to Adobe. I've used my Patreon money to subscribe to Adobe's subscription thing, monthly thing, so I've got Photoshop and Premiere and all that, which is why I'm doing more videos. I want to do, it comes with InDesign as well, which is a kind of magazine and book publication software. I want to try and make an e-magazine that looks a bit like O&M used to look. Obviously not copying the fucking style outright, because that would be, I'd get into all sorts of bother, but something that looks a bit like O&M but is all just written by me. And there was a period during O&M where fucking 70% of the magazine was written by me anyway, so to all intents and purposes it will be 2009 era O&M in all but name. So I'm going to look into that and see what happens, but that's a while away yet, so don't get too excited. Not that you would anyway, potentially. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, thanks for watching. That was a nice wee turnout. I wasn't expecting as many as that for the first one. I was expecting like 10 people. So it's good. I think it hit like 80 at one point. which is nice and unexpected. Hopefully over time these build up and more people come to see them if it becomes a regular weekly thing, and hopefully it'll build the podcast up as a result, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, cool. Alright, thanks guys. I'll catch you on Flip Flop very soon with more stuff and such. This now is the awkward point where I try and figure out how to stop the stream while pretending I know exactly what I'm doing. That wasn't shots fired, just to be clear, at the rest of the O&M team. There was a point when loads of people left, and while we were waiting for new staff to come in, I was pretty much manning the fort. So that wasn't me suggesting that the team weren't doing anything. It just meant there was a stage where loads of people left, and we were waiting for loads of people to come in. So for like 2 or 3 months, it was just me, basically. So that wasn't me saying that I was the only one doing it, to be clear. But yeah, anyway, regardless. Alright. Cheers folks, I will catch you in a flip flop later. Bye bye.